What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my cousin pal, the man with the plan, the one and only, John Meleka. But before we ask John how he's doing today, everyone, I need your help.
You know what it
Need
is.
your help. We need your help. That's what I want. That's what I really want to say. If you're not already subscribed to this podcast, please do so. We're on all audio listening platforms, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. Also, if you listen to this podcast on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us that 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave us a comment. We will read it aloud, and we are appreciative for all the comments that come our way. We're also on YouTube, okay? So type in Knicks, Jets, etc. period, Knicks, Jets, etc. We're on YouTube. Please make sure to subscribe to that channel. Make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And please leave a comment. Hit that like button. Do it all. Come on. We'll interact with you. We appreciate it all. We appreciate all kind gestures. It's just the polite thing to do. While you're there, we got Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, usually go down the NFL slate. NFL season's not around, but guess what? Just dropped today. NBA Thursday night. If you listen to this podcast, it's Friday. But if you go back and listen to hearing their prop bets, just getting a taste for their analysis on how they look at the NBA game, they did do their futures. So make sure to go check out their futures because, hey, there's still a little bit of season left, okay? We still got somewhere about 18 to 20 games left. So make sure to get those bets in, but do it responsibly. And last, and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there.
We're there.
And with that being said, John, Mr. Meleka, happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to you. You're getting a card for me. It's in the mail. I'm not joking. You'll like the card.
Okay. Let's go.
And when you get it, we're going to have it displayed on YouTube, so that way people can see what it says.
Okay,
you'll like it.
Let's go.
But how you doing, man? How's your birthday? How you doing today? Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak. They gave you a good gift yesterday. They beat the brakes off the Dallas Mavericks once again. Luka Doncic was the only guy that was playing. Jalen Brunson, who we are going to talk about today because there's enough slander going around about him and saying that he shouldn't be paid, he shouldn't be doing this. And it feels like we keep going down this road every single time. So we're going to talk about that. But man, the Knicks are giving you what you wanted, man. They're in the hunt. All right.
Hell yeah.
They're 3.5 games out from the 10th seed where they could be in the play-in tournament. They are now doing what you want them to do. They're fighting for the play-in, man. They're fighting for the play-in. How do you feel? How are you doing? What's going on?
Oh, what's up, man? So first of all, I'm hyped about this card coming in. I had my birthday yesterday. Went out to a nice steak dinner. Shout out to Gallagher's in the city.
Oh,
great place. Yeah, man. Crossed over to the dark side to the 30 mark. So,
welcome.
You know,
this is where your Jets fandom starts to sour even more.
Man, I don't know if the Knicks and Jets could hurt me more, but those are the famous last words. So I won't harp on that too much. But dude, the Knicks gave me exactly what I wanted. I was a little excited that my idea to go to Dallas didn't work out on a Wednesday in the middle of the week when KP got traded. I was like, oh no, you know what I mean? KP got traded. Dallas is hot. Knicks are over. You know what I mean? This would be terrible if I had went through and planned this out. At the end, it looks like I had non-buyer's remorse here because I wish I was at that game around by 30. Around by 30 on my birthday in Dallas, that would have been just perfection, man. I am so excited with this team. The way that they're playing, I'm not surprised. I know I should be surprised because of the product that they've given us, over the first 3 quarters of this season. But to be honest with you, Alex, I'm not. This is what they should be. I love what McBride is trying to turn into. I love that Grimes is ramping it back up, right? And that's the stuff that's kind of, at the end of the bench here. You got to throw it up for my man Randle, dude. You got Julius Randle. I guess I am the
Randle apologist.
Not only for this podcast, but it feels like for all of Nick's Twitter. I think Papa Left is trying to take that reign right now. He goes off about Julius Randle these days. We have Randall's wife and CP and Knicks Fan TV, all that stuff going on. Shout out to I-95 Bully who left us a comment in the YouTube, talking about how no one's ever giving any of the Knicks fans credit, for going hard for Julius last year, treating him like an all pro, you know what I mean? First team all NBA. And he has a good point there. And shout out to RJ Barrett, dude. And I'm not even gonna throw RJ his props anymore because at this point I'm just gonna expect it. You know what I mean? So like RJ, I'm just gonna expect it. He's good. He's fine. He did okay. I'm gonna give it up for Julius Randle last game. Mitch Robinson showed up, and dude, is IQ becoming a point guard? I mean, I'm so glad I'm not watching fast break pull up threes from a logo anymore, like he's Steph Curry. I'm glad that he's actually passing. And it looks like the energy is there.
Fucking tune is this?
The energy is there. I mean, he's playing like a point guard. Like for the first time I've ever seen, he's actually playing like I don't know why he's doing it. I don't know what's happened to him. But listen, dude, I've been saying it on Knicks Spaces. Everybody's been yelling at me. I've been saying it here. Everybody's been freaking out at me because the Knicks have been losing, and I agree with the 7-game losing streak. We've been sucking since the All-Star break, but we've been playing so well, man. We've been playing so well since the All-Star break. And I just know what I'm watching. You know what I mean? I know the L's are coming, but I know what I'm watching. And I'm watching pretty good Knicks basketball. I can't stand Evan Fournier. I'm annoyed that Cam Reddish is hurt, but I'm excited about this team, man. We're in the hunt. We're in the hunt, son. What's up?
Oh my God. Turning 30 has done wonders for you. Oh my God. IQ's a point guard.
He's been playing like one. That's the thing. That's the thing. I have no qualms with IQ. It's just that for the last year and a half, we've been telling him play point guard, and he's just playing shooting guard, but he has the ball. You know what I mean? And that's fine. He can do that. But if you want the tides to turn, something has to give. Like you say all the time, the famous quote, do the same thing over and over, expect different results, definition of insanity. We're here now. IQ is finally becoming a point guard, and you see the benefits, dude. You see Randle. Like I want to shed a tear watching Randle set a screen and call for the ball off the post and get the bounce pass from IQ.
I was about to say that where IQ told him like, yo, no, you get down to the post, and Randle's like, all right, well, I'll get down to the post.
Exactly. Randle's like, what? So we're up all these points. You're not just gonna chuck it right now. Like that's usually how it's been going.
Growth. Yeah, no, it's been great watching that. It's been great watching IQ get out of that slump. And for like the last 8 games, you see he's starting to come around. He's shooting very well the last couple of games. But these past 4 games, though, these past 3 games, I should say, where the Knicks have gone on their winning streak, you look at this team and look, dude, they have not scored less than 107 points in the last couple of games. And they could have scored more against the Mavericks. They took it easy. They pulled the guys early because they were just up by 30. They didn't need them out there. But look, they waxed the Clippers. They waxed the Kings. They waxed the Mavs.
What world is this?
I have no idea. You tell me. I'm
not shocked. I'm not shocked, Alex. If you're listening to these episodes, I was beating Dallas because Dallas has been hot.
Yep.
They were clearly due for an L, and we are desperate. And Randall's at home. Like, it's so funny. You said it versus the Kings. We have Sabonis, Randall's favorite opponent, and then he shut him down. And then we have him going home to Dallas, where he always kills it. He was screaming, "This is my gym. This is my gym." And he's right. It is his gym. It really is.
Yeah, no, that is his gym. And not because he wants to be a Maverick. Let's relax. Let's relax. He is from Dallas. Just cool it. But yo, John, I want to touch back on Immanuel quickly because the last 8 games, he's been averaging 16 points. All right. He's been shooting 51% from the field, 44% from 3. Okay. Averaging 4 free throw attempts and hitting 93.5% of his free throws. He's also averaging 5.5 rebounds and 3.5 assists with 1.3 turnover per game. Dude Immanuel Quickley has found his rhythm. And you know who would probably helps? And he also talked about it. Deuce McBride. Playing next to
Oh,
Deuce McBride in his presser, he
oh,
said
I
playing with
love
Deuce
him.
McBride helps him. One, Deuce pushes him in practice, but two, he even said it allows him to be who he is and to play free. It takes the pressure off of him, right? And not exactly those words. I'm modifying it, but that's essentially what he said. And you see it. Deuce McBride offers them together. We saw in summer league. Those two as a combo backcourt just feels lethal because you have Deuce, who is active on defense. Immanuel Quickley is active on defense. They just know how to play off each other. And they're both looking to pass. Like, I shouldn't say they're both looking to pass the ball because IQs will lean more so towards scoring while Deuce is looking to pass. Okay. But they both can shoot and they both can pass. It's kind of like the yin and yang, right? And you watch them both out there. And it feels great watching them play. And it's nice that Tibbs has taken Deuce McBride out of the doghouse. And we're starting to see, and he's not necessarily doing a lot out there, but his defense, it's infectious. You have to respect his shot because he does have a legitimate jumper, even though he's not consistently hitting it. And that's okay because he hasn't had enough playing time to get in that type of rhythm. But you watch those two as a backcourt, and it feels great. I love it. And as a bench unit backcourt, that is phenomenal. I love it.
That's dude. That and
And he's at a loss for words, ladies and gentlemen. He's at a loss for words.
Because I know, Alex, that the first thing you said is, wow, look at this turn of events for IQ from my perspective. And what have we been saying from the very beginning? IQ and Derrick Rose was a whole different ball game. He needs to be off ball. And he has Deuce McBride, and look how he's flourishing. He doesn't need much. You know what I mean? He doesn't need Chris Paul next to him for him to flourish. He just needs somebody who's going to control the pace maybe a little bit, spread the offense, plays defense, right? D-Rose is playing actual defense on the Knicks, and that's why we liked him so much. Deuce McBride, he's getting his hands in the lane. Cam Reddish was also getting his hands in the lane too, right? Unfortunately, he got a separated right shoulder. He's out for the year. But at the same time, it is sad. At the same time, we do have Grimes ramping back up. He's on the bench. I'm kind of okay with that, right? At the end of the day, I'm okay with that because now Grimes is going to get that playing time. I'm really excited to watch McBride and Grimes get real time, man. Real playing time. And that's on top of Jericho Sims and Mitch Robinson balling out. I mean,
if only we had these kids earlier in the season. That's honestly,
what are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do? You can't bench Fournier 25 games into the season and say, yo, I get that. My bad, bro. I know I'm giving you $20 million a year. Have fun on the bench. Like, you just can't do it, you know?
I get that. I get the politics. You had to trot Kemba out there. You had to trot Evan Fournier out there. I get the politics. I get the politics. And this is why when I read stuff saying Worldwide West blames Tom Thibodeau, it's like, bro,
he doesn't.
Like that. Stop. Just stop.
He just doesn't.
Just stop. You are part of the problem that put him in this position. You are part of the front office that signed off on getting these guys. So if you know what Thibodeau wants, and if you know what you want, don't put both yourselves in the situation that's like going to give you results that just has you head scratching and pulling your hair out. Like if Worldwide West was so in favor of having the youth movement, then you should have told the front office, no, let's not get Fournier. I have more faith in Quickley and Grimes than Fournier. Like say that. Like, and say it.
And you think that,
and honestly,
that noise isn't going to change the rotation? Of course it is.
And hold on. And honestly, like, look at how Tibbs goes to Grimes and how he wants to play Grimes. That tells me more where it's not like Tibbs doesn't want to play the kids, because when Grimes is out there, he loves having Grimes out there. Okay. So I don't want to hear that. Kemba's a different situation. I can understand throwing that into the wind and just saying, let's see, for $8 million. That I can agree with. Fournier, not so much. But hey, it is what it is. But I get the politics. We're here at this point. Whatever. I'm liking it.
We here in the hunt, son. In the hunt for the play-in.
Let's
16 games out. Let's go.
16 games out. Let's see how the season unfolds with the remainder of the schedule. But you touched on it, man. I just want to say, like, I feel sad for Cam Reddish once again because he's out with a separated shoulder, as John touched on. Got that news today. It was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. And it just, you know, it's interesting because according to Michael Scotto, who he interviewed Stephen Bonnie today for Hoops Hype, the Knicks are open to trading Cam Reddish. They're not going to trade him for less than what they traded for him, but they're open to it, which makes me question like what's the future for him? Like the Knicks will still have him around probably next season to start off with because he's still on his rookie scale contract. But I'm just curious to see what's going to happen to him after this offseason with a separated shoulder because we needed this time too to see what Cam Reddish could offer this team to see how he fits in. And now he's losing more playing time. And now you're looking at a 1-year evaluation to make a determination if you want to pay him. What are your thoughts on Cam Reddish right now?
So as you mentioned, we have that 50-year extension on the rookie scale, right? So right off the bat,
Fourth. 5 years
yeah,
for
but
a quarterback.
oh, sorry, I'm saying he got the extension though. So my point is he's going to be on an expiring, along with who you just mentioned, Kemba Walker, and another guy who's in our doghouse, and especially Tibbs's doghouse, Nerlens Noel. Right,
He's got to get out of here.
all those are expiring contracts, right? So that's the first thing when you ask me about Cam Reddish's future. That's the thing that comes to mind. But most importantly, I think he did show what he can do in this short spurt, right? You saw the bad of Cam Reddish when he barely had 5 minutes and he would come in and take bounce back step threes when he's guarded, right? And would just completely miss the rim. Mm-hmm. We saw him D up when he finally had a sniff at some minutes. And we saw him, kind of play inconsistent play, but of course, in between that, some spectacular plays and some not so spectacular plays, just to put it, a little elementary out here. And so if other teams are intrigued by that and they still have that huge Cam Reddish intrigue and he's going to go in a big trade, no problem. However, in a perfect world, we can get rid of the Fournier contract and then we have a Grimes and a Cam Reddish for free. You know what I mean? Hanging out there. Then kind of RJ Barrett is still free. That's three huge
it's a lot
pieces,
of wings,
right?
A lot of
wings. You throw in IQ, another free guard, right? That's all if you don't, make any crazy trade. I'm just giving hypotheticals here. So that's what I like about Cam Reddish. But if you're just trying to ask me about what do I think his future is, personally, I think he's really expendable. I think we could move him for a nice piece. And we have Grimes. We have RJ. Cam Reddish is not doing anything so spectacular for the Knicks that he's unreplaceable, but his intrigue to me is way better than the Knicks giving him a contract, even if he does well next year. You know what I mean? Even if he does Atlanta Hawks stuff, Cam Reddish, when he was really good, I'm not trying to pay him. So I'm okay with letting him go, especially because we saw the pieces we have. We kind of see what he can do with this offense/defense. So to be honest with you, if you're going to gun to my head kind of deal, I'm going to say that Cam Reddish probably played his last game with the Knicks, or he's going to be gone by, the deadline next year.
Yeah,
I don't want to pay him.
I could see him being gone by the deadline because either his intrigue is like the highest right now because you saw like that 17-point game, but that's not the best that he's played because we saw him play his best with Atlanta in the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks. So maybe you bring him back for another. You say, okay, let's try to move all these other guys like Fournier, all these other wings not these other wings, just really Fournier, just to keep it a buck. And you get him back in there.
But even Brooks could move too. You know what I'm trying to say? If we're moving for like a real player.
Yeah, Brooks is probably going to be gone this offseason too. I don't know about
probably, but if it was for a real player, I could see it. But I don't know.
I think the Knicks are going to consolidate some of their assets to get some point. I think right now this rotation's a lot. Like if you're a coach, and this is where I also feel bad for Thibodeau, and this is where I look.
Whoa, I know, Tibbs right? Apologists, guys. Whoa, watch out.
No, you're
gonna have a mob outside your house.
I know, right? Too bad they all have to drive pretty far to come get me. But no, like I keep it real. Like I tell you, like I didn't really like Tibbs' rotations. I don't think we know he's not a good offensive minded coach. We know where his flaws are. I don't know. I keep going back at that, but I also will tell you that for Tibbs, like He didn't put himself in the situation. The front office did not help either. So you can't Tibbs has blame. Front office has blame. Players have blame. It's not just one person. We've been all around trying to figure out who to blame for this underperformance of a season, and it's not just one person. There's a lot of people who are culpable for what we witnessed on the floor of the season. But
it is one position. It really is. I'm not even joking. It's one position. I'm going to blame it on that position until it's solved.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going on 2 decades.
Yeah, 2 decades. Yeah, it's a point
minus
guard.
Minus 1 year.
We haven't had a point guard since Raymond Felton, and this is a good transition point, okay? Because it's funny that we play the Dallas Mavericks last night, and people watch, Luka go off, and the second guy
go off on the ref, or you mean like on the court?
On the ref.
Okay.
Yeah, and
the quietest 30 points of all time.
Yeah, because it was 12 for 25. It was he shot 50% from the field. It's not bad. That's a good shooting. But he shot 3 for 11 from 3, and he was just chucking up shots over there. So, okay, fine. Luka is a high usage player that is needed for the Mavericks to stay competitive, and it's a lot of isolation ball through him, which is why, to me, it's impressive that Jalen Brunson has performed so well this season. Now, he had a bad game last night. He only had 8 points, 3 for 12, 0 for 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. So I get that.
Okay, first of all, you mentioned the 0 for 5 for 3. The 0 and 21 or 22 from 3 from the Mavericks was the most egregious thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even know if that counts, because if they try to do that again, I'm not sure that that's possible.
Dude, again against us. Again, they shot like crap from 3. This is not the first time.
Like the 0 for 22. That was nuts, bro.
Dude, so the Mavericks shot 6 for, what is it, 40? Did I read that right? Hold on. Mavericks shot 6 for 44 from 3 yesterday. Okay. I'm gonna look up the other one to see when they played against the Knicks back in January.
We killed them.
Yeah, we killed them, but they also shot like shit from 3 at that game too. Let's not forget.
Yes. That was Tim Hardaway though.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Timmy. Oh, Tim Hardaway Jr. How I do not miss you for chucking up so many threes.
So yeah, that's why I don't think that 0 for 5 is really too much of an indictment on Brunson. But I'm gonna give him props for, like you said, being able to do this behind Luka. But also, he's been phased out, man. He's been phased out by Spencer Dinwiddie, and all the Dinwiddie haters. I know we all read the same article about how he's the worst locker room presence ever, and then we go to his crypto stuff and it's over. But he's a beast, dude. He's a beast, and he's a starting guard, and they know they're not going to re-sign Jalen Brunson, and so he's being phased out.
Mavericks shot 8 for 37 against the Knicks back in January. So
let's go. We own Dallas.
Yes, we do. We do own Dallas in trades and on the court. I don't hear any Dallas.
You hear
Mavericks
that, Howard Beck? You hear that?
I don't want to hear any Dallas Mavericks fan think they still won that trade. You traded KP for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, who I was watching get cardio yesterday. He was supposed to be a 3-point shooter. And if that's...
You always go off on Bertans.
He was 0 for 5.
I know, you always go off on him.
Because he got paid $80 million to go 0 for 5. All right. I was on Bertans too, but I will change. When I see, he has not done anything since he's gotten paid. He got the bag and he's dipped. He is not who we thought he was. All right. He's not.
My favorite low key and the most underrated Twitter beef is Tommy Beer versus Howard Beck, when they go off about the Dallas versus the Knicks trade versus the KP trade. Who won? Who did? They always go off on it. But let's stick to the point guard situation and Jalen Brunson, man. What do you got? What are you fuming about, man? What's grinding your gears over there? I know there's some Knicks Twitter stuff going on now about whether or not to pay Jalen Brunson. He had a bad game against us, and most Knicks fans is what it is. We only watch Knicks games, right? Which is fair.
Yeah.
It's 18 games.
That's fine.
And not everyone is as crazy as us or as crazy as myself. And so, it makes sense that whatever they watch, that's the perception they get from that squad, right? We watch Ja Morant beat us, like, oh wow, Ja Morant's amazing. That just turned out to be right. We have different perceptions of people like Fournier and Terrence Ross because they kill us. and Ricky Rubio. And so maybe now it's Jalen Brunson because, as you said, we own Dallas. So
yeah, can you imagine?
go ahead, let it out, man.
Can you
Let it out.
imagine? That's a good one.
thoughts.
And I want to start off with that one because I was thinking about that one today. Evan Fournier. If we just watched every single Knicks game where Evan Fournier played us, we think Evan Fournier is like this magical beast, and yet he is not that. But yet we want to go, but yet we want to do the inverse. And I was never high on Evan Fournier. Like I had him third when I wrote for KnicksFanTV.com as like top free agents because out of
Shots
like the free agents,
Chip. Shots fired at our boy Chip.
Out of all the free agents that we had, like DeMar DeRozan, best shooting guard free agent by far, hands down. But I didn't think he was going to fit with what we needed on this team because you can't have the ball in his hands, RJ's hands, and Randle's hands. Like,
I don't know. The mid-range king, there's always room for the mid-range king on my team.
Yes, but I once again, I always go back to that roster construction. It's him and Zach LaVine who get most of the touches. Lonzo doesn't need the ball. Caruso doesn't need the ball. Patrick Williams doesn't need the ball.
They missed those boys.
Vooch doesn't need the ball. All right. Most of those guys don't need the ball. Those two guys are the most ball dominant guys you have on that team. And it works. If you put it here where you want to feature RJ, you're going to have Julius Randle. It's tough, man. We're not talking about the Golden State Warriors where Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and all those boys. Like, that's not who we got over here. All right. But regardless, that's not what this conversation is about. Evan Fournier, we would think that he's like the greatest guy on earth. All right. Had him third. Once again, my KnicksFanTV.com article, because out of all the guys who I thought would be best for the Knicks, he was in that top three. I wanted Norman Powell. Top guy would have been Gary Trent Jr. He wasn't available. Okay. Gary Trent would have been my number one.
GTJ, baby.
Oh, man. But you look at Evan Fournier, he's not that. And now we're going to go look at Jalen Brunson after what? One game that was very bad. Most recent game. It's like, this guy's not it. He is a good player. Okay. He is just, I just don't get how we look at this guy who's shooting 50% from the field, 38% from three, hits over 80% of his free throw attempts, and is averaging 16 points, close to 4 rebounds and 5 assists. And we're like, we don't want a steady hand. We haven't had anyone good at this position since Raymond Felton. First year Raymond Felton when he came back. All right. Best Raymond Felton was when we had him with Amari that first year before we traded for Melo, by far. But we haven't had a guy like that since then. And before that, who? Marbury? Nate Robinson? Like, I'm ready. Jason Kidd, I mean, he helped a lot. Like, yes, I agree. That was the combo. That both him and Felton together was the 1 point guard. But we haven't had a point guard for so long. I'm not looking for the answer. I'm looking for a steady hand. Can we get like
Allen Iverson?
Can we just get someone in here who's steady, who knows the game, cerebral, knows who to get the ball to, can run an offense, can get his own and not have to be featured? We don't need a scoring point guard. We don't need another ball dominant guy who's going to be featured as the point guard. What we need is a guy who's going to take a secondary role or even a third, like a tertiary role, and just help everyone else. Like,
look at
I know. Ooh, look at that. Big words coming out.
So you want him to be the starter, the third option as a starter?
Oh yeah. I think he helps a lot. The way he could shoot, the way he knows how to get to his own spots. He's not the best defender out there, but he can hold his own. But once again, like, what point guard is your best defender outside of Drew Holiday? Mike Conley was a good defender. Like, who's locking somebody up 24/7 at the point guard position? It's just not realistic in the NBA, in my opinion. Like, Ben Simmons is, if you want to consider him a point guard, I guess, but he's not even really a point guard, you know?
Oh, he's only a point guard. He's the most point guard of all time. He belongs in the 50s. But anyway, I think Ben Simmons is going to be good. But I understand what you're saying. Here's the crux of the question. If you're going to give him $20 million, he better be a real point guard. Like, there's no backup. Here's the crux of the situation, Alex. You're watching Dallas turn him from this at least second string behind Luka Doncic, which you could understand, right? A huge talent, a superstar. But why would you bring in Dinwiddie, a guy who is supposedly a locker room cancer, right? At the time, according to the article, which I disagree with for the record, puts him there. And then puts Jalen Brunson to the bench? You think it's just because they're trying to move on? But they could have traded him. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense. And so when you see a team like downgrade their player, it gives you pause to say, now I'm going to pay him all this money. However, on the other side of that, I'm, going through our group text today, you'll know that I have non-buyer's remorse. Second time I used that word today, but this time it was on Red Van Fleet. And I didn't want him. I didn't want to pay for him. But think about it. From the time that we could have signed him till now, we still not even smell the point guard. You know what I mean? So is that going to happen within the next 3 years as well? Where if we could have paid Jalen Brunson $20 million, yes, who cares? Whether it's, even though that's a crazy number for the next 3 years, $60 million, right? Almost what we're hoping to pay Mitch, or what Mitch is hoping to get paid. Let me rephrase. And we'll actually have a point guard for 3 years. I don't think that's really going to deter anybody. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because if you look at the league, say we were bad this year and we had Jalen Brunson on 20 million and he was a serviceable point guard, we could have traded him for 20. A lot of teams would have loved him for 20 million and we could have flipped him. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's a tradable contract at the end of the day. It's not Fournier making 17. The only issue is, man, what if he stinks? What if he is a third string point guard?
It always comes
but
back.
What if he is a third string point guard, dude? Like, you just saw his team that drafted him turn him into a third string point guard. What if he is? What if he is a third string point guard?
But we keep
just gave him $20 million a year, bro.
We keep going through that. And look, here's the thing. I think it was one insurance in case they can't keep Jalen Brunson. Okay. Jalen Brunson will be a restricted free agent. They may be looking to get assets because they traded some draft picks in order to get some guys, right? And they may be looking to rebuild and help support Luka Doncic, new coach. You don't have Rick Carlisle down there anymore. They're probably looking to get assets to say, you know what, this isn't really the team I envisioned, and the coach is doing their own evaluation saying, am I a big fan of Jalen Brunson? Maybe, maybe not. Do I want Spencer Dinwiddie in here, who I think is more likely what Jalen Brunson's going to get, like 18 million. I don't think he's going to get 25. I think if he does get 20, which would be the max, like that would be fine. But even still, the salary cap is constantly increasing. So that contract doesn't look as bad as it ages, right? I look at Jalen Brunson that he's worked his way from a bench to a starting rotation. And it's not like the Mavericks are like this worst team. They're 40-26. They're 23-12 at home, right? They're a good team. They're a good team to play with. They're second in the Southwest Division.
I think we caught them on. I thought we caught them again when we were due. Like I think that we were just hot and they were super hot, and they were
fifth. And they're fifth in the league, right? We're not talking about like the Mavericks are fifth in the league. They're not like some terrible team. And the fact that Brunson could be working alongside, I should say, working alongside next to Luka Doncic, that should give you some indication how well he can play off ball. 1, 2, the fact that they're fifth in a Western Conference where you have obviously the Phoenix Suns, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Golden State Warriors, Utah Jazz. Those are like your 4 top heavy teams. Dallas for being fifth, like over the Lakers who stink, Clippers who are like middling, like they're taking advantage. And like you look at the remainder of the schedule, and the fact that they're able to stay above those teams is encouraging to me. They could have been down and out, but they're not. Because all they have is really Luka Doncic. Everybody else on that roster is kind of okay, like even when you had KP, he missed most of his games, wasn't really a post presence. Dwight Powell is not really a post presence, and people keep asking, well, how come they allowed Fournier? Well, they don't have a post presence. So let Fournier work and let Mitchell Robinson sag off of Dwight Powell and force them to beat you on the inside, which they're not a good team at doing. They're 29th in the league in attempts around the rim for a reason, because they have no post presence. So force them to shoot. That's the game plan. And it hasn't worked both times. So maybe other teams haven't figured it out. Maybe other teams don't have the roster to really play that type of game. But that, honestly, in my opinion, if the Mavericks do have someone like a Mitchell Robinson at bare minimum, that's a better team than what they had yet last night. So I look at Jalen Brunson saying that if he can fit in there being part of a playoff team, playoff caliber team, I think he would help the Knicks. Like he clearly shows that He doesn't need to be the focal point. And if you're high on RJ Barrett continuing his rise, if you're still believe in Julius Randle and turning his game around, just needing a point guard to get him into the proper position and not allowing Randle to constantly initiate the offense, then this is the type of guy that you want to allow those two guys to get to work. You know,
I agree.
That's how I look at it. And the buyers were more saying like, what if? You got to take a chance at some point. We haven't taken a chance in 20 years on somebody. We really haven't. We missed out. We said it for Kyle Lowry. Remember that? We didn't trade Iman Shumpert because Iman Shumpert was a little too much for the Kyle Lowry trade. And look what happened. We should have had Kyle Lowry. I was all in on CP3 becoming a New York Knick. People were off on that. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but still people were like, oh, he's old, injury prone. This is
why people are dumb, man. He's literally leading the league again in assists. It's unbelievable.
But yet the guy who turned the OKC Thunder around, who was able to work with James Harden, it was more of a James Harden problem than a Chris Paul problem. Let's remember that in Houston. Didn't want Chris Paul. Lonzo Ball would have been a good, perfect fit. People are like, no, he can't do it. Yet he was in a bad situation in LA, in New Orleans. And now look, he's in Chicago where he's around two guys where he doesn't have to be the focal point, working pretty well, and is motivated because he's working with two good guys. You said Fred VanVleet. We're hesitant on Fred VanVleet, which was before Lonzo Ball. And now we're doing the same thing again with Jalen Brunson because we're afraid of overpaying him because Knicks fans have been traumatized. We've been traumatized to be afraid of paying people because we've been backfired. We think about Allen Houston, okay? We think about all these massive contracts. We get not that Carmelo Anthony was a bad contract. I wish he went to the Chicago Bulls. He should have left at that point. Phil Jackson was not the guy for him. But we look at him, we're like, everyone's like, oh my God, how are we going to move the Melo contract? We just look at all these guys that we paid and we're just like, what? Another bad contract? What are we doing here? I don't think Jalen Brunson will be a bad contract. I don't think he's going to demand over $20 million. And if you pay him $20 million, let's think about when Fred VanVleet and Lonzo Ball signed for both 85, I think, both of them. I think that's their number. If we get him for 80, he's still in his market range and below market value of those times, which would be a good deal for us. Honestly, if he got paid 90, that's essentially what Lonzo and Fred VanVleet would be playing, be getting paid. And that's where I get a little more concerned. 90 million is a little too rich for my blood, but if you can tell me we can get Jalen Brunson for like 80, max 85, like I don't think that's a bad deal for a starting caliber point guard who, like a guy who doesn't need to be the focal point but can still get his own, you know.
That's well, listen, if you do that and then sign Mitch, that's it. You're done for the season. Like you're done for the off season. Then it's just whatever you could trade for the rest of your guys. So if they decide to go that route, I'm okay with it. At this point, it's just going to be scary if Mitch gets hurt. But at least Sims is okay. Noel is still there. Hopefully we trade him for something. But hey, man, we could think about all that stuff as the season rolls on. Right now, we here. Shout out to Knicks Film School for the hoodie. Shout out to John Starks for the signature. Shout out to Leon Rose for having the same birthday as me. I'm hyped right now. We're on this 3-game winning streak.
And you guys wear the same shoes, right? You guys got the same shoes?
We wear the same shoes.
You're both bald.
That's my boy. Leon Rose is my boy.
Both right? Attorneys.
Yo, hire me, son. I'm ready, Leon.
Wait a minute. He grew up in Cherry Hill. You grew up in Staten Island is not New Jersey, but it's close enough.
It's not Cherry Hill, bro. But anyway, we're at Memphis, dude. We played them pretty well for 3.5 quarters, right? And then they killed me right in front of my face. They were kind of clowning us. I'm a little bit nervous because they had a lot of fun playing against the Knicks. Hopefully that was just the Garden. This is all heart and no mind. But I need the Memphis W. I need it. I'm not going to go out of a limb and say it's a guarantee like what I had for Dallas, because I'm doing that for Sunday. I know it's the Kyrie-less Brooklyn Nets, but it's going to be a must win for the Knicks on Sunday. So I'm kind of looking ahead to that 1:00. This is the last game of New York's technical road trip. Right, I know it actually goes one more day because it's in the Barclays Center for Sunday, but they're going home. They're going to their beds on Sunday. for that road trip after the Friday game. So I just hope they really close out Memphis, man. I'm not going to be shocked if they get blown out, honestly, by 35. We had 3 straight blowout wins. I'm not going to be shocked, but dude, I am really hoping for this win. I can't go for a loss right now. Give me the Brooklyn win. We're going to go 50%. We're going to go 50% this weekend. I would love to go 100%. I doubt it. So I'm gonna go for the Brooklyn win and the Memphis loss. But dude, I really need the 2 wins, man. I need it for everything. I've been why I love being in the hunt so much, admittedly, is because I get to watch every game and like hate watch it. You know what I mean? And I could just like I'm hate watching the Wizards. I'm hate watching Brooklyn. I'm hate watching Atlanta. I'm hate watching Charlotte, and that's fun. That's fun for me. Like, it's good for me to like really care about those games, without putting $1 on them. So this is where I am right now. I know their schedules at this point. I know all those teams' schedules at this point, but it starts with the Knicks. We have to get the wins. If you go look at the schedule, we're streaky as hell, man. It's like 7-game losses, couple wins in a row, bunch of losses, but it's very streaky. It's not really back and forth. So I'm hoping to get the streak going. Keep it moving. We got to beat Memphis in Memphis. Split the series, bro. Split the series with Memphis. Come home and beat Brooklyn in Brooklyn with no Kyrie. Maybe Ben Simmons makes his debut, which would make me like the Knicks even more because like they're still going to be weird. I could see it happening, man. I can foresee it. Their momentum is riding right now going into Memphis, and they hate Memphis. There's animosity between those teams. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. and the Knicks, they get into beef, man. They really were getting chippy out there. So
Memphis and the Knicks just have beef.
Just give me the 2 wins.
Look, man, Memphis has issues
since the Zebo days.
No, Memphis has issues with the Knicks because James Dolan turned off the hot water. Let's not forget that.
I forgot that.
So let's not forget that. And you had Alfred Payne who pushed Jay Crowder. Now they're on the same team.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
That's
what do you think,
actually.
man? What do you think about those games?
I don't think it's going to be a win against Memphis. I think Memphis is too hot of a team, personally.
Yeah.
Give me that Nets win, though. I need to beat the Nets. That's all I need. It's all I need.
Me too.
I'll tell you this, though. If the Knicks do make the play-in, boy, we better see Brooklyn. I want to see Brooklyn. I'll tell you that right now. I want to see Brooklyn. I want to knock Brooklyn out.
Okay, I don't want to see Brooklyn, but I want to see Brooklyn on Sunday. I think I might go.
All right. Well, this is a good place.
If we win in Memphis, I have to go. I have to go to the Clays. I have to.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I think this is a good place to end it. Yeah, you heard John's emphatic. We're in the hunt. That's all John needed. It's all John needs.
We're in the hunt, son.
The Jets couldn't do that for him, but the Knicks can. Look at that. Look at that. But thank you, everyone.
The Jets have a chance to make me smile, man. We'll see.
We'll see. But thank you, everyone, for tuning for another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, Etc. podcast. You know what to do. Please make sure to subscribe to this podcast. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher. You name it. We are there. On top of that, if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. That helps our podcast out oh so greatly. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave us a comment. We will read it. Okay. We'll do that. All right. Because we appreciate you guys for taking the time to write us a review. We're also on YouTube now. So type in Knicks, Jets, etc. period, Knicks, Jets, etc. Find the YouTube page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way, you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, please make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. We'll respond. We like all the engagement. Okay. We love talking to you guys. We love this community. We appreciate you guys for always tuning in. So thank you so much for doing all that stuff. Yeah, that's right. Blood of the Panta once again, man. Gang, free Obi Avengers, free Obi. You know what it is. Also, while you're over there, please make sure to check out Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, usually go down the NFL slate. NFL is not around, all right? You got to wait until next season, but they're doing NBA stuff. If you're listening to this podcast right now, I talked about it earlier in this pod. John and Greg just dropped one for Thursday Night Basketball. You can listen to those takes and get an idea for how they do their analysis, but they also did their futures. So let's go take a listen. I won't tell you who they chose and what they got going on, but go take a listen and see who you should bet on and bet responsibly. And last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there.
We are there.
Thank you, everyone, once again for tuning for another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. We out.
Let's go Knicks, baby. Let's go.